everybody. Welcome back to episode 16. We can say actually arguments with my brother, with me, Jenny, and my brother Nick. Say hello, Nick.
You can't say episode. You've had 15 episodes to practice to say episode.
I know, but look, I've not had a full cup of tea yet, so it's a slow start for me. It's a slow start today. So yeah, so anyway, so you just ruined my intro just saying.
No, I think you did that yourself.
Yeah, right, okay, so we're already arguing, as you can see, and we will continue to argue about another ridiculous topic that, I've thought of this week. I'm actually quite excited. This is new ground that we're covering. We've not done this before. So pretty much what I thought, right, I've been looking around and it seems like quite a lot of the 90s fashions is coming back into style, right? And so I thought what we could say is, right, what is one of the best 90s fashion trends of that era, and what one that will be actually quite excited made a comeback. And so that's where I got the inspiration of seeing all these young'uns now around like with crop tops and butterfly clips and all this 90s fashion. I'm very excited for it. That's that was when I thrived in my fashion journey, I would say. So what do you think about that then, Nick?
I think it's great. I mean, I had real trouble. I had to really research what they wore in the 1890s. I've got no idea. So I there was an awful lot there. It was, I think, I just presume there's lots of things like corsets and stuff. Corset.
Corset.
And I guess. I mean, you say this 90s fashion's back. I've seen no one in a top hat. I've seen no young boys as chimney sweeps as oversized caps. So yeah, 1890s.
Yeah, obviously, Nick. Oh, we're on form today, aren't we? So
we're on form.
We were just discussing before this how we're in a bit of a silly mood today, so we'll see where this journey will take us. But before we get on to that, do we have any feedback as per last week's zombie apocalypse weapon with the spade?
I did. Okay, so I did legitimately try and go onto Amazon and leave a review for the spade thing.
Right.
But it wouldn't let me because it says I wasn't authentic enough. And I wasn't. You need to leave X many reviews to do it, and they wouldn't let me do it, which was really annoying. But then in my search, I found so there was a novel which was turned into a film called World War Z or World War Z. And obviously Brad Pitt was in the movie, and the movie was average, but the book was very good. Never watched it, don't bother, it's naff. Right. But the book's really good because it's written like it's a UN unauthorized document of how a zombie apocalypse took place and stuff. And one of the things that's in there, and I didn't realize this because I completely forgotten, is that they talk about this weapon that they mass produced for everyone to try and stop the zombies. And what was it based off of? A spade. So a fake UN document also highlights the fact that a spade would be a good weapon. But they also said icicle again. And this thing coming back to the icicle. How does that even work?
Yes, Renaud, yes.
How does that even work? That doesn't work. You can't do that. You use it once and that's it. It'll be a very short fight.
And what do you do in summer?
This is a good point. Yeah, it's only good for those, Inuit zombies. Or trying to defeat something like on the Terror. Have you been watching the Terror? It was on Amazon Prime like last year. This is off topic entirely, but I need to talk about this because it's awesome.
Okay.
It was on Amazon Prime like 2019, but it's just started on BBC, so I've just started watching it, and it's all about the John bollocks. What's his name? John someone's like doomed expedition through the North Arctic Passage. Through the North, trying to find a way through the North Passage to get to China, and essentially their ship gets stuck, and then there's this big fucking scary creature that's like killing them all. It's brilliant. It's really good.
I don't think that's my style. I'm quite happy watching.
It's 90s fashion.
Yeah, 90s fashion. So, have you thought about? Are you confident with your choice?
Not even slightly confident. No.
Okay, right, brilliant. Well, let's see how this goes then. Do you have a coin?
I do. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, fuck you. Come here. Heads or tails?
Coin. Heads, please.
Coin. It's heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to let you go first, as you're already not confident about it.
Yeah, no, I'm not much of a fashionista, and I don't pride myself on good fashion sense. I never have. I probably did at some point in my life and thought, oh yeah, that looked really good.
No, there
You know,
was.
you
I
look
think
back
I
and
do
go,
remember, particularly there was a moment in the 90s where you went a bit when you were listening to So Solid Crew and shaved your head and
right.
you
So
were
this
wearing
is the thing.
chains.
But this is the thing, though. That wasn't the 90s. So I checked because I thought, oh yeah, I could talk about this and that and the
Yeah.
other, but that wasn't the 90s. That was the noughties.
Oh,
That was
yeah, but
closer.
like, okay, yeah, okay. It was like
No.
2000.
Sort of 2001, 2002. Yeah, and
Yeah.
don't hate on So Solid Crew, man. Yeah.
21 seconds ago, man. Fucking brilliant song.
21. Love it. Tune. But that's the thing. This is why it's tough. I think we think about 90s fashion, it sort of gets mixed into early noughties fashion as well.
Yeah.
So I don't remember. This is what was difficult for me. I don't remember buying anything into any sort of specific fashion in the 90s. I mean,
well, and I think the thing is as well is that, you know, we had quite a lot of hand-me-downs and stuff like that. It wasn't very often that you go out and you buy kind of like new clothes and stuff like that. It just wasn't really kind of done back in our day. And also, you know, me to remember that we grew up in a place where school uniform is what you wore like 90% of the time. So we didn't actually have a huge amount of streetwear, so to say.
This is the thing. I don't know much about hand-me-downs because I'm the older, better sibling. So yeah, but
Jesus.
Yeah.
Continue.
But no, but that okay. So that was one era I nearly went down was the whole school uniform thing, and you know everyone used, you know, in the UK everyone used to. The only way you could differentiate your fashion in school was either shoes or jackets. So I remember
No, mate. Disagree. Backpacks said a lot about you.
Yeah, true. I don't remember what backpack I had back. The one thing I remember wearing all the time was like I used to have this Nike rain jacket thing.
Yeah.
That everyone seemed to have. It was sort of like it sort of finished sort of midway down your thigh, and it was black. And Arsene Wenger from Arsenal used to wear it all the time. I wasn't even an Arsenal fan, but yeah. But yeah, so I remember that. And the other thing was headwear was a big thing, like bucket hats. Remember bucket hats?
Oh, bucket hats. Yep.
They're back in fashion now. There's a video of a guy called Alex who performed with another guy called Dave at Glastonbury a couple of years back, where he comes on stage and he does this whole grime thing. Remember that, right?
Stormzy, no?
No, it wasn't Stormzy. It's some other guy. It's another grime rapper called Dave. He sings a song called Tiago Silva, which is like class. But this guy's wearing a PSG shirt and he's wearing a bucket cap, and I was like, "That's so 90s, bro."
So 90s.
So that's one thing. But I think the thing I'm going to go for, if I'm going to have to do something, it's sport related. I think it's sports jerseys. Okay, not one specific one, but quite a few different ones. Okay, all of them grossly oversized because that was the fashion. Okay, so you know,
has to be baggy.
I think if there was a 90s fashion item that I liked back then, it was some kind of sports jersey. If it was not, it was an England rugby shirt maybe, which I love, with Cellnet as the sponsor. Yeah. Harlequins, who's another rugby team who have very interesting colour scheme and still do, and I'll share a photo on social because I still love them, but I couldn't get away with the quarters anymore. The other one that really I remember, and it came back to me, I was like, shit, yeah, that was awesome. Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, black jersey. That was the other one, 23 on the back. I mean, I knew nothing about the NBA. I probably knew Michael Jordan, I knew Scottie Pippen, I knew the Bulls, Magic, the Lakers and the Knicks, and that's probably about it. But that was huge, and I wore that thing for years, like usually with like a really white baggy t-shirt underneath because, you know, it was...
cold.
England, cold. You know, and you know, I'm as most of people who have seen me or met me or know me, I am not a tall man. Okay, I am not graced with height, not too much height. Okay, but you know, a Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls jersey did wondrous things for my game. You know, it was just the bomb. You know, so I think that's what it is. That like. And there is a thing about, especially within football, okay, especially you've got like iconic 90s jerseys. It was just like the thing, like the like Euro 96 and the England, you know, team kit, and the bonkers one David Seaman wore in goal, which was like
fluorescent yellow.
It looked like he'd been attacked by a children's television studio. You know, it was just colours everywhere. So no, that's what I'm going to go for. It's uber baggy sports jerseys. the definitive.
This is before you had like
fashion.
all the bodycon, like, you know, tight rugby shirts. You know, it's things. I think it's some of the older gentlemen who maybe put on a little bit of weight no longer like wearing the kit because it's very tight, very tight. But no, that's a good call. That's a good call. I do remember a lot of people walking around Man United shirts as well. A lot of people wumbling around. Yeah, no, I was having to think, right. I'm like, okay, right, fashion trends. And for me, you know, it was a height of girl power, especially in England in the 90s, you know, and it was just like, yeah, the Spice Girls and, you know, girls were really kind of fashion forward, I reckon, in the 90s. I was looking at, you know, I was thinking like, well, what about like those hair accessories, like the little butterfly clips? Like those are pretty, you know, those are pretty fashionable back in the day. And then I was like, oh, you know, what about, you know, camo pants, you know, trousers with all the pockets.
You mean like the super baggy ones?
Yeah, super baggy ones. Yeah, I'm talking like, oh God, what's the name of that girl group? The English All Saints. All Saints. So you wear, you know, the baggy camo, and then you wear like a crop top with it, but it's like a sports bra. Yeah, and with a bucket hat, of course. You know, that is like ultimate like 90s style, and you know, it was very very iconic. But what I actually decided to go for is something that I actually would love to wear now, but I just don't think I can get away with it, and it is back in style now, but it's just not the style that I like. You know how sometimes when like fashion comes back, like it always comes back like a little bit different. But yeah, I liked it back in the day. So what I went for is platform shoes. I just saw they were so bloody cool. You know, you had the trainers and you've got like 5 or 6 inches of pure plastic. You know, the amount of twisted ankles and have. And I remember my first pair of platform shoes, I was in Tammy Girl, and they were white. And they had a little heart on the shoe, on the toe cap. And I remember up to Mum, I'm like, Mum, I really want these. And she's like, don't be silly. You'll break your ankle and it will hurt and they'll rub. And I'm like, oh. So I go up to Dad, as you do. I'm like, Dad, can you please buy? Of course I can, darling. Thank you, Daddy. And I remember Mum was just so angry. And so I put them on immediately, started walking around Blue Water. Within 15 minutes, my feet were bleeding. I was in utter pain, and Dad was helping me walk, but I refused to take them off because Mum had that "I told you so" look going on. And I'm like, no, I love them and I wear them forever and every day, and I love them. And so, yeah, so that was my first experience of high heel platform shoes. But yeah, I'm talking about like the trainer ones, the ones that the Spice Girls used to wear and stuff like that. I just thought that was so cool, and I'd love to get away with those again, but I'm, you know, in my 30s.
Are they back? They're back. So platform shoes are back now?
They're back, but they're like kind of just really chunky trainers. That's the best way I can explain it. But it's just they don't have as much class as they used to, I don't think. You know, back in the day it was
platform shoes so classy, always very classy.
Look, out of everyone, those who are not graced with height, as you said, you should be a fan of platform shoes.
No, anything that can break your ankle when you're trying to just walk around normally.
Yeah, and to be fair, it did start a whole decade of me wearing very, very pretty but very, very silly shoes. I've still got freaking fluid around both of my ankles because I twisted them so much, wobbling home on them. And as you know, in Lausanne, it's not the easiest place to wobble about in stiletto heels, really, is it? Because you've got heels everywhere, and it's not easy.
The platform shoe thing was just driven by
Spice Girls, pretty much, yeah.
That was it, right? Yeah. But why have they suddenly made a comeback? Like, I don't get it. Is it just because it's, you know, fashion is a cyclical thing?
Yeah, I think what happens is stuff just does make a comeback like that. You know, it's like, because platforms, they originally came popular in the 70s, right? And so just eventually the cycle kind of goes around, and every time it comes back, it just changes slightly. But 90s is very much a thing now, you know, about the, like, I was looking as well, like the sheen fabrics, you know, where it's kind of like see-through. Those were big. And then like you had stuff, but then I kept on, as you did, I kept on kind of drifting into the noughties, like, you know, wearing a tie with a tank top.
That was all Avril Lavigne though.
Yeah.
That's all a bit weird. Fashion's weird. No, I don't think that.
I don't know. When you think 90s, you think iconic, you know, platform shoes for 100%. You don't really think of his jersey. The other thing, but as you were talking about sporting thing, I did actually think for a second you were going to choose poppers.
Yeah, I nearly went with poppers.
Yeah.
I nearly did go with poppers. but no, it's the reason I didn't pick like bucket hat is the same reason I think platform shoes is wrong. Okay, so the bucket hat, you tend to think of like I think that I associate that with either 90s rave or Britpop or Liam Gallagher wearing it or something like that. So it's just linked to one thing. It's not like all encompassing across the whole decade. The platform
but it
shoes
is
thing
though,
is like
because to me the 90s that is Spice Girls. As soon as I think 90s, I think Spice Girls, and No Doubt.
No, not because that's what 97. Okay, so you're more than halfway through. You've got to have something. Your 90s got to be consistently all the way through.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
About that.
But still, no. People will side with me. I've got a feeling about this one.
Platform shoes.
Oh.
I just, no, inconvenient. Didn't they used to have them where you can have like a goldfish in it?
Yeah. Don't think that was a good idea though.
If you could have any animal in a platform shoe, what would you have in it?
Well, I just think it's a bit cruel though, don't you? I think it's a bit cruel.
Okay. If you were to take the cruelty aspect out of it, what would it be?
Or like something that moves a lot, like an eel.
I'd have them set up so the see-through part was like almost like a roller on the back, and I'd have a hamster in there. So if I was getting tired, I could just lean backwards.
Like a shit version of wheelies.
Yeah,
Heelys. Heelys.
Yeah, you can call them hamster Heelys.
That sounds like something on an Italian menu. Hamsterini.
Maybe it is.
Ooh, that's not good. Anyway, we digress. So, yes, so there we go. So, let us know your thoughts, boys and girls, about what you think is the most iconic 90s fashion. Maybe you think we're both wrong. Maybe you do think a bucket hat is all encapsulating of that decade. I mean, who knows?
Who knows, indeed. And yeah, as usual, follow on the usual places. I can't remember where they are. They're in the link on the podcast.
Facebook, Insta, Spotify,
iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Google Podcasts, other places. I don't know. I need to see if I can play it on my Google Home and just be like, "Hey Google, play Arguments with My Brother," and see if that actually works.
That would be fun. Yeah, let us know about that next week if that works out. That'd be pretty cool.
I'll record it and see if I can put it on social.
Do that would be exciting.
Okie
dokie. Well, have a very good week. Enjoy the spring that is coming, and by this time next week we're changing the hour, are we not? That'll be nice.
Yeah,
spring is here.
Forward.
Very good.
Should be fun. Yeah, see? Spring forward, fall back. Good. That's how you remember.
All right then. Well, have a good week and thank you very much for listening.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.